Hi, thanks for watching The Creative Underground. I'm Paul Carhart, and today we're going to talk about books, um, specifically my books. But if I'm like any other writer out there, I started out as a reader. How many out there like books? If you like books, please say so in the comments. I love books. I can't go to a bookstore without walking out of there with a bag full of something. Lots of books in my office here, in a studio, whatever you want to call it. Lots of books. I love to read. My eyesight isn't what it used to be, so I'm actively looking for a pair of reading glasses so I can once again take on my um, hobby of reading. But I'm also a writer, and so I was going to touch upon the books that I've written. And the reason for that is that, I said these videos are going to be about what I'm doing and what's going on. This week, I've got about 3 or 4 more chapters in my book, A Stranger at the Gallows, to wrap up. And then we've still been recording for Third World Sun, so not a lot else on that front to show you. What I showed last time is pretty much par for the course on that. So I want to go into some books here. So this is the first book I put out in any capacity. It's called Chance for the Future. It used to have a picture of a very pretty lady holding a little boy in its first release. And this was released, I think, in 2001. So 2010 was 10 years. And so this was the 10-year anniversary cover for that. It's about a world in which creativity is outlawed. And so there's a resistance against the government. And the government's basically decided to get those lazy bums, those artists, a job. So you've got a resistance of creatives, of artists. And that's sort of the premise of Chance for the Future. The sequel is called Hope for Tomorrow, and it takes place in wine country, basically. It continues the story from there. A few years later, and then Faith of the Past is the third in the trilogy, the first trilogy. I intend to visit this series again, and this has got a time travel element to it. So if you like that kind of a thing, it might be your cup of tea. Around the time I got married, 2003, put out One of the Girls. This is the first book that I put out in my own publishing company, my own label. It's called August 2 Publishing. And then, so the cover on this was done by a great artist in Colorado Springs, Colorado called Chris Cartwright. And he did an excellent job on portraying what this character looked like. Just almost ripped it right out of my mind. This book has had another cover, which looks like this. Same book, a little bit different cover, a little bit different size, a little bit smaller in dimension, but put it back out with a new cover. Same artwork, just a little bit different on the graphic design. Still Chris Cartwright did it. Zooming Through Life was my nonfiction book. It's actually sort of a travel guide, although not to a place, but sort of things that I picked up traveling and then use in my everyday life. It's, I think, an interesting read. I'd like to do a sequel to this. I've got a few ideas as well. I did the cover of this. This is a shot in downtown Long Beach. It's got the blue line rushing by. Stranger on Bay Street was my next piece of fiction. It features an angel going about doing some different, missions that he's been given. This is a contemporary fantasy or urban fantasy, maybe, if you wanted to call it that. Scotty Zero from my band Third World Sun actually posed for the cover for the Angels. So this is available on Amazon. This is what I'm writing the sequel to right now. It's actually a prequel. It takes place, it's a Western, Stranger at the Gallows. And the latest one that I just put out is Planetfall. It's a much thicker book than all these other ones. It's actually 3 novels in one, like in the style of Lord of the Rings. So this is a story about an astronaut or a team of astronauts that are orbiting Earth in a world very much like ours, or perhaps in a slight future. And they go through a wormhole that takes them to an alternate Earth where Adam and Eve had never fallen. They've never partaken of the fruit. The serpent never pulled his fast one and all that stuff. No flood ever happened, no curse on the earth. And then what happens when sinful man from this earth comes into that pristine, perfect earth that God had created. So, yeah. So that's what this is about. I got good feedback on this one. A lot of people really liked this one. So if that's kind of your cup of tea, you might want to pick up Planetful. They're all available. Amazon.com in print. Also, Kindle editions are available as well. And if you go to Smashwords.com, you can get all the other various digital formats also available. I don't have a lot else to show you guys this week. It would be very boring, I think, for you to just sit there and watch me, type or stare at a blank page, which is probably about 85% of writing, and the rest is editing, actually. I was going to have an artist do the cover for the new Stranger at the Gallows. I'm not sure if she's still available or if she still wants to do it. Maybe I'll have her do something else. But now that I'm doing a lot more artwork with Elvin's Pet Peeve and stuff, I'm thinking I might do the cover for A Stranger at the Gallows myself. And if I do, then it will be the subject of a future video, probably not very far in the future. Since, like I said, I've only got 3 or 4 chapters left. Maybe the next video or the one after that will be me standing here holding a pile of papers saying, look, I finished a novel. Because it's been a while. Planetfall was the last one I finished, and I finished it just after my wife passed away, which was 4 years ago. So, and I started writing this before she even passed away. So this has been a struggle to kind of get through this one. I have high hopes that once this one's out the door, I will return to my prolific writing ways. But only time will tell, and maybe these videos. So that's all I got right now. Sorry about that. It's not that there's nothing going on, but there's just not a lot of filmable things going on right now. So thank you guys very much for watching The Creative Underground, and I'll see you next week. Thanks again.